What's going on, guys? It is D, and welcome to another episode of Tourszn. Today, I got to sit down with Mr. Brendan Gilman. Just found out that he is a Texas Country Music Awards nominee for Guitarist of the Year, so you know he's bringing it when it comes to slinging that axe. But we got a chance to sit down at the house. We had some barbecue at the Smokehouse. Then came back to the house, and we just kind of kicked it. Talked about touring life, different tactics when you're traveling, when you're doing some fly dates, some other things, on how to help save when you're touring. And we talked about some of the biggest people who have played music in front of, and a couple other things. So this was a really good conversation. Brendan's an awesome person. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Welcome to Tourszn. Hey, we're just getting started. Why don't you join us on this episode? Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to Tourszn. I'm your host, Darren Eubank, and like we know, Tourszn is just a quick glimpse into people's lives on the road, musicians, and kind of what they're doing in between all the shows that you guys go to. No one really gets to see what happens in between. So I'm kind of dissecting that, if you will. And today, I got a good buddy here with me at the house. By the way, I should say, we're rocking a Deep Ellum denim hat. Those guys are awesome. If you're ever in Deep Ellum, in Texas, you need to go to Deep Ellum Denim. They're awesome. They're off of Taylor Street out there. Great guys. Great gear. So I got my buddy with me. Give it up for Mr. Brendan Gilman.
Let me take a. I got Insta this. Hold on.
That's funny. Yeah. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I'm glad you're here. I love like people coming to the house. Mm-hmm. We just get to chat. And what was really cool is Brendan, you're from Louisville. Like that's where you're staying these days.
Yeah, that's where I'm at these days.
And I was like, bro, come on down to Waxahachie. Let's go grab some barbecue. We went to the Smokehouse on the square.
I got some hot sauce. The hot sauce,
dude. The smoked salsa is the real deal, y'all. You don't want to sleep on that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I was so glad that you invited me because we talked about maybe just doing it from I would just call in from my place. I haven't seen people in forever.
Yeah, it's been
Let's
forever.
hang out, dude.
Yeah, totally. I'm in the same vein, bro. It's just good to see people in person, not through a screen, and
that's all it's been. My 17 students I've had. It's like I've missed them. It's been nice to see them on the screen, but I miss interacting with them in person. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah. But we're here, and Brendan. Dude, you're such a skilled guitar player.
Thank you.
Can you actually walk me through the first time we met? Because I love that story. Yeah.
Man, I was walking around with my cousin Joshua Mather, who is also a local musician, singer-songwriter. I think he's got the residency Thursday nights at Keller Tavern.
Yeah.
And we were just walking through Deep Ellum looking for some good live music because we wanted to get inspired. Me and him, we write a little bit together. And we passed by Drugstore Cowboy.
Yes.
Right? And yeah. And we passed by that window right by the stage.
Right. Which is, it's like I guess the business, and before Drugstore, it was that's where the load-ins would happen. So it was like a big old steel door that we would just open and be like, hey, Deep Ellum, we're here. Yeah.
And so we're walking down the street, and we just hear the faint sounds, because we're a block away or whatever, and I just hear the faint sounds of someone, voice of an angel, performing Name by Goo Goo Dolls. I'm like, this retro flashback, man. I was in middle school or elementary school when that song came out, and I was like, dude, this is cool. And we walked past, and we saw you from the side. We're like, all right, we're going inside.
Yeah, dude. I remember kind of literally in the middle of the song, you guys just appearing next to me, and I was like,
I wasn't sure if you noticed that. We were just saying hey.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, that's those guys. What's up, dudes? But yes, I used to host a Drugstore Cowboy open mic on Tuesday nights with Amy Cordero, and dude, I've met so many good people during open mics. Some people would go on to be my groomsmen, people that I met just randomly at open mic, and so it's cool that. That's honestly where the friendship began, and I've done some shows with Joshua, and so that was really
And you
cool.
did you meet Simone Nicole through him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I played on all of her stuff. Her past two albums, at least past full album. We've done like 3 or 4 singles since then.
Yeah.
And she's awesome too. She's great to work with. Awesome material to be inspired and come up with guitar parts for.
Yeah. She's pretty cool. She's probably one of my favorite women artists in the area, just because it's almost like she doesn't really conform to like what you would think. I don't know, like when she sings, I'm like, I didn't expect that from her, you know, and that's special. So, but dude, so I got you on the show. You are the lead guitar player and the backing vocals for Chris Colston.
Yes, sir.
Texas country. Is that would you say that, or would you say country?
It's a little more polished Texas country. It's
okay.
It's really the stuff is really well produced. It's really really well thought out. So it's very radio friendly country music, which I think is awesome.
And that's so much different from what essentially like Texas country is. It's usually unpolished, right?
And there's nothing wrong with that, but they're proud of the raw sound.
Exactly.
They're proud of that, and they go for that. It's on purpose. It's not necessarily because they're less skilled. Hit the mic. It's not necessarily because they're less skilled or whatever. It's that they want that sound. They want that raw sound, and that's got its place. And then there's the more polished side of stuff, which is really really cool too. Yeah,
I love Texas country.
Me too.
And it's, you know, probably something I'll never. That's an alarm. And that's probably something I'll never like make it in, right? But I love listening to it, and I love the atmosphere behind it. So I was like, when I'm thinking of Tourszn, like, who do I bring on? Like, and I actually just kind of scrolled across one of your many thoughts on Facebook.
There's so many blurbs, so many, just so much nonsense.
And I was just like, you know, I need to reach out to Brendan. Like, I wonder, like, if he would like to talk about just his life, you know, being in there. And you were with a couple other bands before. We can get into that too. So I was like, so I'm glad you were like, yeah, let's do it. I want to be in person. I want to talk to people. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a drug at this point. I haven't gotten my fix talking to people. You know, three months of isolation has been hard.
Right. So, what did you get into? Like, I guess let's just say playing guitar. Really. Let's take a tour.
Let's take a tour. Age 13, I think, actually. My mom got me my first guitar, and I was really into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. John Frusciante, something about him. I'm not sure if, like, there's nothing in my playing that resembles John Frusciante. I think I just thought he was cool. Yeah. Like, you've got a guitar, you're cool, I want to be just like you. And so from there, you know, I just learn the basic stuff at home. I've never been taught. I'm entirely self-taught. And so I got into all the typical rock music that you were supposed to get into when you were growing up playing guitar. And And then when I turned 17, me and my cousin, Joshua Mather, who we mentioned earlier, we started a rock band in high school. And,
Heck yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
Do you remember your name for the rock band?
Oh, we had 2 names. So we changed our name because the first name was a little bit too dark. We were called Altered Mental Status.
Oh, gosh. AMS.
We made stickers that just said AMS.
Altered Mental Status.
Altered Mental Status.
That's awesome.
And then we changed our name to Broke as Bliss, which I'm not going to get into. There's a lot behind that name that I can't explain properly. You'd have to reach out to Josh.
Josh, yeah. Honestly, knowing Josh, it seems like a Josh thing.
It's very articulate. Very, yeah.
That's funny. I always do these weird, like, voiceover, like, voices. And when I think of Broke as Bliss, I think of Broke as Bliss. You know, like, you know, some kind of reality TV show.
Oh, like the overdubs, like the voice overdubs? Like,
right, or like a great value.
Next?
Right, or like a great value, like Bachelorette, like, tonight, Broke as Bliss. You know what I'm saying?
8 p.m., 7 Central.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm looking to make it in a reality TV show.
Absolutely. We'll start that.
Yeah. Chalk that
This is a tour life or a tour season.
Tour season, yeah.
And we can expand this to a reality show, which I'm sure will just blow up.
Instead of calling it Broke as Bliss, we can just say tour season broke.
Yeah. That's completely appropriate.
It'd be appropriate. So you started playing in high school. You're with Josh. You got your cool band names. So post high school, like when did it click for you? Like I want to do it. Like
when I always knew I wanted to do it. I just didn't know that I could. And a buddy of mine, a guy named Tim Phelan, who I actually still work with regularly, he owns a studio in Arlington. He was playing drums for a group called Backseat Molly. Another really interesting name.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a Texas country group, and we were actually in the process of recording a Broke His Bliss album with Josh. And they needed a lead guitar player, and it's like, hey, why don't you audition? And I was like, country music? Like, I like country music, but I don't want to admit I like country music.
Yeah, right.
So I auditioned and I got the part, and so I played lead guitar and backing vocals for Broke His Bliss Backseat Molly, the Texas country group, for like 3 or 4 years. And then that 3 or 4 years was a very slow burning catalyst for where I'm at now.
Yeah. Did that kind of like set the tone? Set the tone. Did that kind of like set the tone for you and your career? Like, oh, this is something I can see myself doing?
When I learned that I could make a paycheck at the end of playing a show, that's when it was like, oh, wow.
It clicks.
I'm playing for people, they're enjoying it, and they're giving me money to do it.
Yeah.
Whoa, because like I was young. I didn't know, I was like 20, and like at that point, I feel like most people know what their career path is going to be at that point. I had no idea. When I started making paychecks for playing gigs, I was like, dude,
yeah,
I can do this. Yeah.
So when you're getting these paychecks, I didn't figure this out, and you don't have to say the actual number, but like paychecks that you were getting, and you were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. How do they compare to like now?
Very different. Well, I'll tell you my very first paycheck with this group. It was a door deal, and we never got paid this little before, but it was the first time I made money playing music. I made $40.
Yo!
And I was like, I can buy like 2 sets of like guitars or 2 sets of like 10-pack guitar strings. Like I'm rolling in money.
Yeah, my first time we got paid to play music, I was we had gone out to the Bishop Arts District. That's literally where our band started. On the corner of 7th and Bishop, we were busking. And we were terrified, had no idea how to busk. And we went out there our first night, and we made like $95. And I remember being like...
How many people were in your group?
It was just Chima and I, us two. But I remember being like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Look how much money we just made. And I have it like in a roll. Exactly.
Because when did you... How old are you?
28.
Okay, so you played around... Did you play around Deep Ellum and that? Like those, like the Club Clearviews and all that stuff. Like some of those... About the bands, you had to like pay to get in, get on the roster, or pay. It was the buying the tickets thing. You had to buy the tickets.
So many people had to buy, and you get to pick your slot depending on how many tickets you bought. Like,
and so we were like conditioned to believe that you can't make money playing music. You have to pay someone to let you on. And then when you started figuring out that there's a demand for this, like, I'm getting some of that return back.
And the demand. The demand is massive. Like, when we first started, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, people around Dallas love music. But then I was just like, it's not just Dallas. It's not just Texas. It's not just America. Like, the whole world, 7 billion people love music. I'm just like, that's a big demand, bro. Like,
absolutely.
It really is. So, that's why the checks, man. Like, you're so right. Like
you start, like, it's... I get scared when I talk about the pay part, and it's just like, oh, you're selling out. You're just doing it for the money. It's like, no, it's like, it's validation. Like, this is, as musicians, we're so kind of insecure about what we do. We get told day in, day out that we need to get a real job. I've had people, I tell them I'm a musician, they'll respond, oh, that's cool. So what do you do? What's your real job?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, it is a real job. I get a paycheck. That paycheck is validation. And we kind of need that as much as we need to pay our bills.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times someone's just like, you still doing that music thing?
That music thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm doing that music thing. See these walls?
Yeah.
I'm inside of them because of the music.
Exactly.
Your little hobby.
Right.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah. I've gotten that so many times. And a lot of times I'm just like, I'll probably make more money than you. You know, you're like thinking that, you know, maybe. But it's just weird how the idea of being a musician is like, oh, that's not a real job. But in reality, when you think about like people who live in real jobs and hate them, what do they use to escape from those jobs? They go to concerts. They go to bars where they play music. And like, it's like you're using music to escape from these so-called real jobs. And we're the people that you run to.
Right.
You know?
You know, it's almost like for it to be a real job or for you to be taken seriously, you have to hate your life.
Yeah.
What kind of...
It's so true, yeah.
What kind of life is that?
This is not a good one, that's for sure. I certainly don't hate life. I mean, life is really great right now. Mm-hmm. So we throw that on snooze.
It's time to wake up.
Right
now, get your game face on. It's time to wake up.
I remember it's one of my like times is like I need to eat. Like I need to eat I do 2 like real meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
The other meals are like products like shakes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I knew I was going to be eating earlier, so.
Anyways, is that what you're saying your alarm was? Oh,
yeah, that's my alarm. Yeah.
I gotta do that, man. Five meals a day. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
5 small meals or whatever.
Yeah, the other 3 meals I do are like shakes, and stuff like that. Meal replacement stuff.
Right.
So let's talk about this. So you've gotten, you know, your small paycheck first, and then as far as you traveling, like Backseat Molly, you're there for what, 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. And you were talking to me off screen about going up to Mississippi, and there was no one there. Yeah,
it was just the most heartbreaking thing. We talk about how the paycheck is the validation. Well, even though I got a paycheck, seeing nobody in that audience was like
tough, right?
What am I doing with my life? And we have planned, as musicians, we go back and forth. It's like bipolar with our confidence. It's like, oh, I feel great, and then we play to no one in the audience. It's like, oh, I should get a real job.
Yeah. There's mountaintops and there's
peaks and valleys.
It's crazy. We played our biggest festival ever last year around this time, early May of last year, out at AT&T Stadium. A place called Kaboo, Texas.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I saw those pictures. That was so freaking cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Is there, by the way, is there any footage of that I can see somewhere?
I've got footage. And I will definitely show you because it was wild. Like, we were rock stars for a day. All of our wives, all of our girlfriends got to be a part of the time. Like, it was so good. I mean, you could just call. I had a number during the festival where I could just be like, hey, we need a ride from the back of the Pegasus Estates to the catering tent. And like, boom, they'd show up in a golf cart and take you there. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. And you're like getting carted around the festival and you're like going underground and you've seen all of AT&T Stadium. Like, our green room was the Cowboys locker room. Like,
did you have to share that with any other artists? Or
yeah, so they've got, because it's a festival, they pretty much like cart off the like the locker room to like 3 or 4 different artists, and so like you've got your area where it's D and Chi, but also like in the common area there's like unlimited beer, drinks, fruit, like sandwiches, Gatorades, like everything, and then on top of that they've got VIP lounge. It's like an artist lounge. And like everything there except the top shelf is free. So like, Brees was rolling around with champagne and all this stuff.
Absolutely.
It's like
just a whole bottle
because you can, and it's like, all right, you know, if I could do this, and it was one of those where like they were like, you know, do you need a ride from the airport? And I was like, guys, we might just drive. Let's just drive to the airport so we can get a ride to the festival from the airport. You know, like how cool would that be,
dude? Like it like the airport thing. That's like that's when you feel like you've kind of made it. Like, have you ever done you've done a fly gig? I saw.
Yeah. We fly. I mean, we've done over 100,000 miles the last couple of years, and we're talking like in the air. Like, wow. We've done over 180 colleges around the country.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man.
It's really cool, and it's changed our lives. So when we first started doing fly dates, I had no idea like
It's a lot. It's
a lot to take in. Now I'm a pro at it because like I can literally pack everything in one small carry-on. And I've got my guitar case which can hold my laptop and everything that I need to take, for those dates. But also like I've got the TSA pre.
Yes.
I can just sneak on through like my headphones.
Get your overhead bin. Put your guitar in.
Yeah, it's like I got the AirPods now. Thanks to my wife, but like. I mean, everything is like pretty streamlined now when we're traveling, and I've got, I started doing points with Southwest Airlines, and I just got round trip tickets to Nashville next week for $11.
What?
Because of points.
That's incredible.
And so and I've got the rental car companies. We use Hertz and we use Budget, and on both of those, we're like the top level where we can just show up and our car is ready for us, like because we've used it so much, and that's kind of the thing that I tell other artists is like when you start doing travel dates, whether you're flying or you're traveling, like wherever you're going, if let's say it's in the contract, because usually with colleges it's in the contract that you get a hotel, like they're booking you a hotel as well. It's just like look up that hotel, see what kind of rewards program they have, because whenever you check in, you can get your points. And so like most of our hotel points we use are from hotels that we didn't even book ourselves. The school did. Yeah. And we're using those points on future things and getting half off. And, so we're like learning all these small details as you're traveling, how to like get better at, what you're doing. And same with gas stations, like get the rewards program, bro. Like
you're more of a pro at this than I am.
Get the rewards program.
How long have you been on the road?
This year is the 4th year.
And see, I've been doing this for like 9 or 10 years now, and I never even thought about how valuable getting one of the gas stations, like the 7-Eleven rewards.
Yeah.
They're one of those, like, same thing with CVS. Like, no, I don't have the rewards. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not here enough. I don't come here enough.
Right. If it's a CVS, I use my mom's, or if it's like a Brookshire's or something like that, like a store like that. My mom probably has an account there still, so I just use that number. But like the newer things, I'm like, well, it's always a good time to start if you've never done it before, because like if you're gonna keep doing this, like you're gonna keep running into where you need to get gas and where you need to book a hotel and where you need to fly somewhere. So like just whenever you start. If you're listening to this, you haven't done any of that, start today, right? So.
It's like it's like you work for 7-Eleven. You're trying to push that rewards program.
Yeah, exactly, right.
So when I played for Ray Johnston for about I want to say 2 or 3 years, and he was my first experience with the fly date thing, and I learned all the packing tricks. I learned how to get my whole pedal board in my bag check. I put my clothes and then put my pedal board on top of it and put more clothes on top of it.
Nice.
So I had my whole pedal board and I had my DI rig in case, we didn't, sometimes we had amp back lines, sometimes we didn't. So in case that, I had my DI on there too.
Yeah.
But one of the funniest things about that is we must have done with him through that, we must have done 10 flight dates. They didn't start having issues with delays until I started playing with them every single... So sometimes we would fly separately, like the drum and the bass player would go earlier because I want to go see Chicago or whatever. And then me and the fiddle player, because we're introverts and we just want to keep to ourselves, we would go a day... We would fly in the day of the gig and play. Every time I was with the group, whatever group I was with, we ended up having at least like a 2-hour delay.
Oh my gosh.
At least. One of the worst.
Like, it's Brendan.
I became the curse. I became known as the curse in the Ray Johnston band. Because the first fly date we did, we had a gig in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we had to fly out the day before. And it was just me and the fiddle player, like I said. And we got there, we were supposed to board the plane at 5. Me and the fiddle player got there at 3 probably. Mm-hmm. We didn't fly out until 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
It was that bad. It was that bad of a delay. And to make matters worse, on the way back, we had a 2-hour delay getting on the plane from Chicago.
Golly.
And it wasn't even like a normal delay. Like we were on the plane and we were on the runway for whatever reason.
That's my nightmare, bro. Like just... So my nightmare came true last year. We were getting ready to fly to, I want to say it was South Carolina, or maybe it was North Carolina. Mm-hmm. But we had an early flight. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of flights to North Carolina. It's maybe like 7 a day. So we had a really early flight. And I remember getting on the plane. And now when I get on planes, I just fall asleep immediately. Because I'm just
lucky
like,
you. If I'm not laying flat, I'm not falling asleep.
I can sleep anywhere. You know, my wife can attest to that.
I would literally give a year's salary to have that.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional sleeper.
Yeah.
I'm 31 and I still haven't figured out how to do it.
Yeah. So I get on the plane, I get to my spot, and I just crash. Because I'm just like, you know, when I wake up, we're going to be there. You know? And I fall asleep, and I wake up, and I'm just like, you know, gathering myself, you know, and I look out, I open up the window, and we haven't even pushed back. And I'm like,
you're fully rested, energized to take on this flight where you're going to be sitting here for 2 hours.
Yeah, and
Let's go.
And I talked to the guy, I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, they're having some problems with the pushback gear or something. I don't know, but like, it was some weird mechanical problem, and I was like, we are 2 hours. Like, it's been 2 hours, and we're still on this.
It happens.
We haven't been pushed back yet. And I just hate, like, I'm such a time, like czar. I'm such a time czar when it comes to when we're traveling. Like, Chima's pretty not that. He's either, like, showing up right on time, or he's, like, running behind. And I'm like, I need to get there, like, 2-3 hours early, because I don't want to have to rush for anything. Like,
you need to make plans for things to go wrong. You need to plan for that. You need to, and then you need time to decompress after you set up all your stuff or whatever you're doing.
Exactly. I'm like, well, it takes 45 minutes for me to get to the airport, which means I need to leave 45 minutes before 45 minutes, because what if there's traffic? Like, you know, just
absolutely.
Like, you know, the flight leaves at 3, but it boards at 2:30, so I need to get there, you know, by 1:30, just in case, like, you know, I'm just like, this.
I have nightmares about that kind of stuff, like missing my flight or missing gigs. That's like a recurring nightmare. It's just like waking up and like the gig was over like 3 hours ago, and I've got like 100 missed text messages.
Yeah, I've definitely missed a flight, all because of Chima. That'll be on a later podcast when we're talking about New York. But I was so upset with that. That was our first time flying to New York, and we were going to be doing like a tour of the Quad Studios. That's where Tupac was shot. Not where he died, but he was shot there first. That's where Biggie wrote the song "Who Shot Ya," and, you know, Beyonce recorded "Halo" there. Coldplay recorded "Ghost Stories" there. And the Space Jam, the soundtrack was recorded there. Like, I mean, this place was awesome. I was like, we're gonna go get to do a studio tour of this place, all that stuff, but we missed the flight. That's nothing short of tragic. Yeah, and so by the time we got into New York, it was time for us to do the things that we had to do, and I was just like,
so at least you didn't miss the necessary.
We didn't miss the necessary things, but I was just like, dang, bro, I wish we could have like done that part, but it is what it is. But so you learned with Ray Johnson, man, that one, you're a curse.
Well, I'm a curse. Yeah, there's something bad is going to happen to you when I leave here. At least,
I mean, get the onions,
right? The garlic for
right?
the salt over the shoulder. What other superstitious things are there?
Knock on wood.
Is this real wood?
This is real. Yeah.
Okay. I was way too passionate about my superstition.
Yeah. And then so you're learning how to fly. You know, necessarily travel and stuff like that. You know, I've actually never used the pack close and then put the pedalboard in. I haven't ever used that.
I only do that whenever there's actually I don't mind paying the $25 with American if because sometimes when we fly with Ray we get a free check bag, so it's like, well, this is a no-brainer. Pedalboard's go with me, because I used to make the condensed pedalboard thing with like 3 of my most essential pedals, and that always hurt.
Yeah, I've had the full board where I had like, you know, the Big Sky. I had. I think I had a DD 500.
The Big Sky is my DI. Did you see that it's got that cab model on it? That was my DI for years.
Yeah, it's
I say years,
wonderful,
like 2 years.
Wonderful. But I probably had 7 or 8 different pedals, but it was a full size board. And if I was gonna bring it, I bought like one of those like heavy duty cases, and I would like lock it. you know, and stuff, and I would check it. And the only time I didn't check it, the carry-on, it's really funny. One of the TSA guys, like, you know, they pull it out to look at it, and they're just like, "What is this?" They've never seen a pedal board before, at least I feel like, and they were just kind of like, "Well, what does this do?" And I was like, when you play this, it does this, and they're like, "Well, cool. Well, what does this one do?" You know, they just kept asking.
So it was like genuine like interest. It wasn't like questioning. This looks like a bomb, and obviously this switch right here, this is ignites it.
They were genuinely interested, and I was like, "I love that you're interested, man. I actually though I need to get to this flight." Like, you know? And he's like, "Oh, absolutely," you know. But it's just kind of funny. Like he's like, "Well, what does this do?"
Yeah,
yeah. But I started taking like 1 or 2 pedals, just like a chorus and like a, you know, because a lot of the fly dates we're doing, like they're asking for an acoustic type, or it's like a small school that doesn't necessarily have the big PA system, or they can't hire like a team to come out and play. So whatever we're bringing is like pretty minimum, anyways.
I mean, it's already a big expense to fly you there.
Yeah,
it's like it's big.
I mean, colleges pay great. You know, like it's wild how great colleges play. Like our first check, we went and played in I want to say it was Tennessee, and just a small college. We played like a 45-minute set, acoustic set. They paid us $800, and I was like, at this point, this was 4 years ago, and at this point, the most I ever made playing music was like $400. And so when they gave us an $800 check, I was like, really? You guys
again back to the beginning, like that. Like it's good to have it keep growing, because the $40 at my first gig was the same exact reaction. Like, really?
I was like, Chima, we got to get out of here before they realize they made a mistake. This is crazy. And we went back to the hotel that they paid for, and I was just like, is this how it is? Is this how it is? You know, and I look back at that kind of check, and like we're making like 3 or 4 times that now. But it's just like so funny to see like where you are.
Growth.
The growth in it, and learning how to travel. I'm just like, 4 years ago, I didn't even know how to. I've never been on a plane before. Like I was just like enthralled.
It's like really daunting, because you hear all these horror stories about guitars getting smashed under the, you know, they put it under the plane or all this stuff, and just general disregard for your property by TSA, which I've never had an issue.
I've had a couple times this guitar go missing. Like it doesn't come out. Because I check it, because it's big enough that it barely fits in the overhead, and I don't want to be the guy that's like taking up, you know, I'm at a whole overhead thing. But it's also like the inside is like double padded. It's built for checking it. Like it's heavy duty, and I've never had a problem like with it like being, like it's broken or, you know, whatever. However, there's been a couple times where I'll show up and I'll be waiting for it to come out, and it doesn't come out, and I'm like, okay,
heart sinks.
I really need that, you know. And so usually what's happened is like, someone, you know, when they took it off the plane, they put it on the wrong, you know, thing or whatever, and it always shows up, you know. This one of the last times we traveled before the COVID-19 kind of locked everything down. I got back into Dallas. It was on a rainy day, and my bag showed up, but the whole outside of it was like muddy, and I just remember walking over to the bag place, and I was like, "Hi," and they're like, "How's it going?" I was like, "Well, I want to try to make this, you know, a learning part, you know. But when I travel, I throw fragile stickers on it just in case. You know, I want to make sure that people know like this is fragile. But like I showed them my bag, I put it on the desk, muddy bag.
No words. What do you think about this?
I just put it on the desk, and I was just like, this is how I got my bag back. And, you know, I don't know how you guys communicate with people on the outside, but as you can see, there's 3 fragile stickers on here. It's a guitar. It's clearly a guitar case. This, you know, I was like, you make money doing this job. This is your job. It's like, this is how I make money. If I haven't opened this case yet, but if it is broken, like, I will be talking to someone about, whatever. And they understood that, I didn't like approach it like a madman,
super confrontational.
Right. Yeah. I just wanted to let them know, like, hey, I haven't opened this yet, but I would really like my property not to be treated like that, especially when there's fragile stickers on it, and when I opened it, it was fine. But it's just one of those things where you could kind of like see the nervousness like swelling up in her because she was like, oh my gosh, this guitar is broken,
Yeah.
So I haven't had too many problems. I mean, that's probably been the worst problem that I've had with it. And people go mad when I say that I check my guitar because they're just like, oh, I've heard of so many problems. And I was like, yeah, I have too. But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And I think when it does happen, I'll be like, oh, dang, it happened. Because I'm not that person to get like irate over something. If worst comes to worst, like I'll go to the nearest guitar center and rent a guitar for a day.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out how to go off, from that. But
yep.
It is what it is. So you left Ray Johnson, and did you immediately join Chris?
I did. I got the offer, and I had to do the really heartbreaking breakup call.
Were they like really sad?
It sucked. It didn't feel good because Ray was a really good boss. He was really organized, really, really predictable in the best way, where you know where you need to be. Like his advances on the Google Calendar were always so meticulously crafted. Like, be at the venue at this time. 45 minutes later, be ready to sound check. Dinner's at this time, this time. And
I love that.
And
he's my kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he was a really good boss, and it really, really hurt to say goodbye to him. I mean, it wasn't really goodbye. It was just I'm going to try out another project. And so when Chris approached me, I said, okay, well, you're on the up and up. You've got some stuff going on. I'd love to be a part of it. Just let me go. Break up.
Yeah.
So that's the hard thing about this is like there's almost never I've never had like a bad band breakup with someone. It's always really hurt my soul, and it's always really hurt their heart too. So I joined Chris Colston. I took the Chris Colston gig and left the Ray Johnston gig. And what was funny about that is I think I'd only been playing with Chris for a month and a half before COVID hit. So just as I was getting my groove with the new group, I get severed from it.
Yeah.
And that hurt because I was so excited. It was such a good gig. We were playing, the last gig we played, actually the week before the last gig we played, we went up to Illinois. We played Chicago.
Oh, heck
and
yeah.
Chicago is such a great place for music. Like, they love Texas country, or just country in general for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because it's like a gimmick for them because they're not a southern state. Man, I want to go. Because all these people, they had, get this, they had shots of Shiner they were handing out.
Wow.
Here's an authentic Texas beer. You want to try it?
Shiner.
So all these people from Chicago are showing up with like their pearl snaps and their belt buckles and we open up for Casey Donahue and it's all these,
nice.
They're all like they think that culture is fascinating. So there's a really cool scene up there, and they were all super into it. They were singing along to Chris's songs, top to bottom. So
I think if there's a profession where something like COVID would just completely decimate, momentum, it's the music business. Like, it was, especially because careers are like born and raised on hot streaks, especially when you're rising. Like, and so something like this, I was telling our band, some bands will not survive through this COVID time. Like, they just won't make it. And luckily the things that we've done as a band, I think we're actually going to come out thriving. But I just, I feel for some of the bands because I know that some of them won't make it. So
well, Chris is in the middle of dropping a new album. He just dropped 2 new singles, and we were so excited about working it up and going out and playing it.
Yeah,
we were basically, I think we had plans to. And I don't think I should talk about exact release dates, but
for sure.
We were going to start playing some of the new material on the road like the 2 weeks after COVID hit and all the gigs started getting canceled. So like I can only imagine as an artist what it feels like to have all this new material and you're getting ready to promote it. You've got, you got backing behind it. You've got promotion behind it. and then suddenly you have to sit at home and just hope your Instagram promotion does enough.
Is enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I totally.
And so it didn't seem like it decimated him at all, because we've got gigs coming up. Like, I'm watching gigs come up on the Google Calendar every day. I was like, okay,
that's good. Yeah. I was just, we were just having barbecue at Jason's spot, the Vault, and he was like, well, how's it going? And I was like, well, I mean, a lot of our summer was. We had like 6 or 7 cities here in the DFW area that were doing summer music series that we were going to be a part of. And because of COVID, they kind of shut all those down. And so I'm confident that we can find some things, but it just kind of sucks because pretty much our spring, we're supposed to be on the road the whole time, colleges, universities. And then our summer was like, we were going to use that money we made from the spring to finish mixing and mastering our album. So we literally have 5 songs left to mix and master. All the tracking's done. Just got to get mixed and mastered, and the album's done. And the idea was to release it late summer.
Yeah.
But I was just like, well, we don't have any money.
Yeah.
We don't have any money to finish the album.
Well, you got like super creative, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, and what that's done is, honestly, it's just, I told the band, I was like, hey, we're all in survival mode. So you've got families, you've got kids, like, do what you have to do to take care of them. And so what I did with us is, I just kind of got to the idea board and I said, man, how can we continue to, how can I continue to survive and pay bills, really? And I came up with this idea called Songs from the Street. And honestly, what it is just, I just said, hey, let me come out to your house. I called up a couple buddies and just said, let me come out to your house and play some music for free. You and your wife or whoever, your family, and tell them I'm coming. And so I bought this AC power converter that plugs into my cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
And it's like 400 watts. And I can connect my whole PA system to it.
Whoa.
And yeah.
Off of your car?
Off of my car, bro.
All right.
Yeah. So I connect my PA system to it, and I can get a good 45 to an hour before like power is drastically, taking a toll. So I just told people, I was like, hey, I can come to your house and play. I'll pay me $50 and I'll play for 30 minutes. And what's happened with that is people are like, I'll go out there and I'll play, and people are like, can you stay for another 30 minutes? And I was like, yeah, sure. Here's my problem though. I need power, And so we would just connect, and they would give me like a big old long cord. But I just told a couple of buddies, I was like, hey, let me come to your house and play. Only thing I ask is that you like live stream it, where you post about it while I'm playing. Just say, oh, this is so cool. You guys should hire this guy, And so literally after the second one that I did, my Facebook Messenger was proverbially ringing off the hook. Like people that I've never met before, weren't friends with on Facebook, are messaging me like, hey, I saw your video with so-and-so. Can you do that at my place? My son's about to graduate, or about to have an anniversary, or about to do a birthday party, or it's Mother's Day. Like all these different things where I'm coming out and I'm playing for people. I've done 23 of those shows. Like
I think Ray was doing pretty much the same thing, but he was calling it drive-up concerts, and you two were the only people I saw doing that. Yeah. And it was so smart.
It is. I mean, people are, excuse me, when all this happened, musicians said, well, if we can't go places, let's just go online, which is not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all. But what I kind of anticipated was going to happen, I was like, well, on any given night, there's going to be hundreds of people live streaming. And, servers might go down. If anything, it's just going to dilute the feel.
So diluted, yeah.
It's like you're going to scroll and there's like 16 things that are live, and you're just like, I gotta get on social media. Everything's live.
And that's the thing is like a lot of people did really, really well with the live stream the first few weeks.
Yeah.
Because there was almost like, I don't want to, this is going to sound completely wrong, but there was almost a novelty in the tragedy. Like everyone saw that the musician community, they were hurting. Yeah. They wanted to help. They wanted to help so bad. But then after about a month, that novelty kind of fell off. And
exactly.
So
our first live stream we did, we raised almost $800. And I was like,
and it seems like
this happens every week. I was mind blown. I was like, and it didn't happen every week. I think the most we made after that was like $300, which is still cool. So we were averaging maybe like, hey, if you came on the live stream, we'd have 3 or 4 artists play. You know, you'd probably on average make like $50 to $60.
Right.
But hey, you know, that's what you're making for a 30-minute set. Like, you know, if you do that from your house, you don't have to use anything but your camera. Like, you know, that's, you know, it was like, hey, you want to come have fun, promote your stuff, like. But we were averaging about 1.3 thousand people watching.
And that's a good reach.
Which is
like,
which is a pretty good reach.
And that's what a lot of these musicians I think they're doing. At least the original artists is they're using this time to cultivate their original music. I'm so lucky to like be able to do a few different things inside of music. Like a bunch of artists are recording right now.
Yeah.
So many artists are recording, and they need a guitar player to play on it. And luckily, I stayed busy through all this doing sessions.
Yeah.
Doing sessions and doing lessons. And I'm so lucky that all these musicians, all these artists wanted to come out and document their music. And because I think they just want it whenever this comes out, they're going to open up the floodgates and everyone's going to come out and they're ready to come out with new materials. Like, check it out! I've got new music. I recorded it over the COVID break, the COVID vacation.
Right, the
COVID vacation. National Lampoon's COVID vacation.
Oh gosh, what a movie! That needs to be done. It's done. Like, that'd be awesome. What a thought. Yeah, I mean, in these times, creatives have to be creative, like more creative than you have been, in recreating things that you've already done. And I mean, it's been so weird. I mean, I came into those songs from the streets saying like, hey, if I can make $50 a day, I'm golden. And so I was just like, you know, I'm gonna do a 30-minute set here. I'm gonna go over to Miss Johnson's and make 30, you know, play for 30 minutes there, you know. And so I'm just thinking like, hey, my friends and family are gonna come through for me, like. You know, everyone can tolerate me at least for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, I'm getting calls from people I've never met before. So I'm driving to Weatherford, Argyle, Terrell, Fort Worth, Plano, Frisco. You know, it's just like Richardson. I mean, all these places that I've never met for these people before. And here's the coolest part. I'm playing these shows, and people will be like, "I'll just Venmo you," and they Venmo me like $150, and I'm like. It's only $50. It's only $50, you know. I'm like, oh, I know. Don't worry about it. And I'm just like, bro, thank you. And then one person was like, hey, you should put a tip jar out. And I was like, okay, I'll put a tip jar out, you know. And so like families who are sitting on their porches are just like strolling over and throwing some money in the tip jar. Before I know it, I'm making like $200 a show in tips. You know, I'm just like, this is crazy. One person tipped me $100. And then after the show, Venmo me $300, and I was like, "Bro, how did you know?" Like,
man.
And I was just like, "Dude, this is amazing." And I kept telling people, I was like, "Bro, I just made $500 today," and they're like, "Wait, what?" And I'm just like, "Bro, I'm telling you, you got to get on this train, bro. This train is taking off." You know, I was telling some of my closest like band friends, and I was just like, "Hey. I'm going to start doing this. Like, you guys got to do it with me. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it's going to be awesome." And dude, people just started paying me. And I was telling these guys, I was like, look, y'all got to do it. You got to get on. Like, I'll make you a graphic. All you do is say this. And then people will join. Like, dude, just do it, you know? And they're like, no, I don't know. And I'm just like, do you want to get paid or not? Like, especially in these times where you don't even know where your next gig is going to be. I was just like, dude, in a world where live music is not happening, when you can say, look, I'll roll up to your front door and play music from a safe distance, live music, some of your favorite covers you've heard and you want to hear, not in front of a computer screen, not in front of your phone, but in real life.
Because they're home too.
Exactly. I was like, all you have to do is open your front door and sit on your front porch. It's that simple. Like, we went to an apartment complex and played on the pool area. Cool. And that one was wild because someone was like, what's your Venmo? And so we literally gave our Venmo out. But like again, 90% of the people are at home, so everyone's watching this, watching us. So we give out our Venmo. As we're playing, we make almost $500 in Venmo tips. And then the place that hired us paid us $500. So I was like, We just made a grand tonight.
Musicians are gonna find this. This is gonna inspire new ways of consuming live music.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that the bar scene is gonna go away because it's not. Nothing's gonna replace that. But we're gonna find new ways to consume it from a comfortable distance at our home. You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna inspire some new stuff. I'm excited to see what this tragedy bloomed. What comes out of this tragedy.
Definitely. So I want to ask you. I'll probably be asking everyone this, but some of like the funniest moments you've had, some of the craziest moments maybe like that you've had when you're on tour.
I was just thinking, and I wanted to bring this up, but we kind of went off on a real track. But I remembered it, and I'm not going to say their name.
Good.
But because I want to protect their identity.
Yeah.
But one of the craziest moments, and obviously I don't take part in a lot of the crazy stuff. I just stand on the sidelines like, yeah, man, you go be a crazy dude. I'm going to stay here safe. And you go do your crazy self. We played this gig with this unnamed group. And it was a good sized crowd. Like it must have been at least like 800 or 1,000 or whatever. And we were the opening group. I don't know what this particular band member did to upset local law enforcement. No, county law enforcement.
Oh, gosh.
Apparently they had been looking for him for a period of time, and they got word that he was playing a gig in this unnamed town. Thing was, this particular band member was also friends with local law enforcement.
Oh, gosh.
So it was local law enforcement against county law enforcement.
That's not good.
So we're playing this big gig, and we start to get word, like, on the last two songs, like, they're going to come get this guy. They're going to come get this guy.
Pull off the stage.
Huge caveat: we have an after party gig down the road that we have to get to.
Oh gosh!
They don't. County police don't know about that one, but we're gonna play that gig. So we get done the last like minute and a half of our set. It's like a walk off, you know, like they walk off stage and we keep jamming. So we keep jamming, and this band member gets escorted by local police into a cop car. Local police helps this certain person get to the next gig. Yeah. And so county police are just
irate.
I didn't talk to, I don't know. I assume they're irate.
Yeah.
But they just got bamboozled.
I can't imagine like playing your song and you're like, oh my gosh, someone's just got to get off stage right now. He's getting escorted by the cops. Everyone can see this. Like, dude, that's crazy. Like, I'm guessing they probably did the switch backstage.
Like, yes, yeah. This person walked off stage like he normally would in the set and walked off and got in the car and met him at the gig. We got done with our set. We pulled our gear off stage and we showed up and he was at the second gig.
That's amazing. Wow. What a time.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
So that was probably off the top of my head the craziest thing I've ever experienced on tour.
That is pretty. Honestly, that's a really good one. Like, thank you for sharing that.
Like because I'm not like really the partier in any group I'm in. It's like I don't really have any cool stories, but other people do. Other people are the partiers. They take advantage of that, and I just watch. So.
Okay, well, next question. Most famous person you've ever opened up for or played for?
Eddie Money.
Oh, no way.
Eddie Money.
Rest in peace, right?
That was really, really, really sad, really unfortunate. But he lived a long life. He was when we opened up for him about a year and a half before he died, I think, maybe 2.
Okay.
I was playing with a guy named Gary Kyle, who was another really. Yep. I have really good bosses, and he was another really good boss.
You do have good bosses. Yeah. I like all those guys.
I didn't know you knew Gary.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know him personally. I just know his music. So
yeah.
I enjoy it.
So we were playing at this place called Redneck Country Club in Houston.
Yeah.
Which changed their name to Republic Country Club, I think, and I think they shut down amid COVID, which is really unfortunate. But we were playing that gig and we were opening up for Eddie Money. It was the coolest thing in the world because we got there and his band, he wasn't there yet, but his band was there sound checking, and they hadn't played in like a year, and they were just rehearsing. We were just sitting there like they were so apologetic too. They're like, We're sorry we're taking forever. We'll be done in a second. We just haven't played in forever. And it's like, no, man, we're enjoying listening because they're just playing these songs instrumental, just getting their hits right, getting all the parts right.
Yeah.
And so their band was super, super cool.
That is awesome.
And of course, my mom growing up, she was a huge Eddie Money fan. She sent me with one of his big vinyls to get signed. Because I told her, I was like, oh, you got to get this signed. And so we get done, and he's about to go on stage. I drag my stuff backstage, and I grab the vinyl and just kind of stand there waiting for a moment to talk to him because he's talking with other people. And he spotted the vinyl, and he approached me. It was so cool.
That is pretty cool.
He walked up, and he was like, oh, you want me to sign that for you? And I was like, yeah, I'm a huge fan, but my mom really wanted to get this signed. And he immediately, like, before I said anything, he, like, noticed my accent. He was like, you're not from around, like, a big New York guy. I'm not going to try to do a New York accent, but this big New York guy was like, oh, you don't have a Southern accent like any of these other people. You don't sound like a hillbilly.
That's so funny. It's true. And being in New York, like, people are like, where are you from? Mm-hmm. So I bumped into someone with my guitar case, and I clocked this guy. Like, we were coming around the corner, and I, like, put my guitar case down, and I was like, bro, are you okay, man? Like, and he was just, like, more flabbergasted that I stopped to help him.
Yeah.
And then I hit him. He was just like, where are you from? That's the first thing he said. Where are you from? And I was like, Texas. He goes, oh, it makes sense. He's like, oh, it makes sense, man. Whatever. And I was just like, yeah, and I was like, dude.
What, just by your how polite you were?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I was so sorry. And he goes, no, dude, honestly, that you stopped. The reason, like, for you to stop, I was like, that was crazy. It just doesn't happen.
That's just like, that's like second nature. If I'm going to hit you on
exactly,
accident, like, I'm going to be like.
Well, they're like, yeah, I'm walking here.
Hey, Copernicus, why don't you navigate yourself?
Square, kick rocks. All these funny things.
But he heard me, and he didn't think, Eddie Money heard me, and he didn't think I was from Texas. He immediately thought that I was from, I don't know where he thought I was
People
from.
always think I'm from California.
I've gotten that before, but I don't think I talk like I'm from California.
Yeah.
What's funny is I've got some, like, 2 words in my vocabulary that have a Southern accent when I say them. And those 2 words are mile and oil. And I have to, like, overpronounce right now because it always comes out ol. Like, I gotta change the oil in my car.
Yeah.
Oh, I drove, man, like, I drove like 200 miles.
Yeah.
Miles.
When I am playing baseball, or if I'm near baseball diamond, I played 18 years, played college ball. Like, if I'm near the diamond, it's coming out. Like, I can get real. Real. Hey, man, let's roll right here, roll 2. Like, I can jump into it like that, and I'm completely fine with it. I feel like that's how you're supposed to talk on the field. Exactly.
Well, if you're chewing tobacco, which I think is kind of like a baseball, I'm sure you don't chew tobacco.
I was seeds and peanuts. My senior year of high school, I told a senior, I was like, instead of seeds this year, we all need to grab peanuts. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but everyone has their own bag of peanuts. And so when we were batting, everyone's in the dugout. Like, seniors had peanuts. It's just like, no one touches. That's Cody's peanuts. That's Taylor's peanuts. Like, you come in and you're eating those like it's it's a bad deal. Like, you get kangaroo recorded. But seniors, we had peanuts. Everyone else had seeds. But dude, I'll throw a huge bunch of seeds in there, get a big old thing, and I'll just especially on road trips, like, that's how I'll stay awake when we're driving. Like, I'll throw a ton of seeds in there. Just salt directly. Just get like a water bottle, and I'll just, one at a time, just put it in the water bottle. I'll fill up that water bottle, bro. Like, I'll fill it up, and then that's when I throw it away.
Never learned how to eat sunflower seeds.
Bro,
I missed that class in high school.
It's art, bro. It really is. Like, you have to put them all on the inside of your cheek, right? Mm-hmm. So you're doing this, make sure I get this on camera. So it's like this, right? But then once they're there, you don't want to suck on them because, like, by the time it gets to the last seed, there's no salt, so it doesn't taste very well. So you just put them in, and then one by one, you move it from on the outside of your teeth to the inside, and then you turn it over with your tongue, and you squeeze, and then it cracks, right? It cracks, and then the seed comes out, and then you spit the shell out. And then you just eat the seed. And then you just take the next one. And it just becomes this thing where you do it over and over and over again.
Sunflower Seeds 101. Thank you.
Sunflower Seeds 101.
We're just going to take that section to promote this podcast.
This was brought to you by Daisy's Sunflower Seeds.
Or was Tom's brand of sunflower seeds? Tom's,
yeah. Oh, man. So many different kinds of sunflower seeds. I was a regular guy. I didn't do like the ranch or the jalapeno. If I did, do something. It was actually Pickle was pretty good. The Pickle brand, but it is what it is. Okay, so Eddie Money's the biggest one. All right, what's the biggest crowd you ever played for?
Ooh, man. We did with Ray Johnston. I'm not sure if this is the biggest one, but this was a really a tentative one. Actually, so there's two that I'm going to talk about. We did Off the Rails Fest. We were on the second stage at Toyota Stadium.
Right.
Not Toyota Music Factory, but Toyota Stadium. I get them mixed up all the time.
Yeah.
But we were at Toyota Stadium, and we had one of the off stages, the second stages. And we went on at like 4, and they didn't even, I think the doors to the stadium opened at 5. So everyone's there. Everyone's ready to go into the stadium, but they can only get to the small stage. So we basically had like a stadium-sized crowd in front of this little stage.
That's awesome.
And they all knew Ray's songs.
That's really cool.
One of the biggest ego boosts, and like not ego boost, but one of the biggest motivators and inspiration to do this.
When they're singing back,
singing back, and like even like one of my like. I get off on seeing people recognize like the opening guitar riff. It's like, yeah, I did that. You're getting into that because you know what's about to happen.
Exactly.
And then
that's cool.
And then the other one was the most recent with Chris Colston in Chicago. Like I said, Chicago, they love music. They love country music. We played what was that? What is that bar called? I have to do an edit for me to remember it because I'm not going to remember it. Joe's on Weed Street.
Okay.
That's a big one. And I think we played to like 900 people in this small area, and that was another really, really cool one.
Yeah.
So I haven't done any full stadium shows yet, but those are the ones where they're like the small places where they're packed shoulder to shoulder. There's a different.
That's really cool too.
That's a different energy.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys ever play the Rustic?
Yeah, I've done the Rustic a lot. Ray Johnston was in and out of there like all the time. Like it seemed like we were doing like almost a residency, like a bi-monthly residency.
Yeah, there was a time where D&G was playing like. I think it was honestly too much there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we don't play.
You guys did kind of the afternoon slot a lot too, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a lot.
I've never done the afternoon slot there.
So we would do acoustic. If we did the afternoon slot, we would do the acoustic brunch spot, which was just Chima and I during brunch, and then we'd come back with the band at 4. And that was fun. I mean, it's a Saturday. Like it was usually like a Saturday afternoon, and so you've got. I mean, it's in Uptown, so it's a huge college crowd. So there's just tons of people there, whether it's at nighttime or in the afternoon. They're just getting there like, happy hour type, drink on. Usually if it's in the fall, it's football season. So a bunch of people watching football on the screens. But yeah, our biggest one we played, we opened for Shaka Khan and Michael McDonald. Yeah. So... Yeah, we opened up for Shaka and Mike McDonald. I know that's the only thing I really knew about Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
Besides, the Doobie Brothers, but I kept saying, "I can't forget it." Yeah. But we were in the studio last summer, and our manager at the time called me and was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing on the 13th of July?" And I was like. No idea. Like I think it was like early June, and I was like, I don't think we have anything on the schedule. For
well, I know what you're doing.
And he goes, I was like, why? And he goes, well, I just got off the phone with Michael McDonald's manager, and they're coming into town, and they want D&G to open. And I was like, what? I was like, say that again, And I was just remember being like, how do they know who we are?
Yeah.
How does they even, how do they even know? And as I was like, absolutely, we'll play that for sure, And then when I got like the show advance stuff, I didn't know this, but at the time when I got it, I realized that he was co-headlining and that Shaka Khan would be there too. And so I'm like, holy crap, this is going to be awesome, And it was. I mean, it was so cool. It was our biggest crowd we've ever played in, with like 5,000 plus.
Yeah, and
sold out crowd.
You said Toyota Music Factory, right?
Yeah,
that's an awesome place too. I did a show on Toyota Pavilion, opening up for a show inside of Toyota Music Factory, and I got to explore the backstage back there, and it's a for real venue. It's pretty so cool. Nice.
Pretty cool. And I mean, we had our own little green room. I was like, bro, we're parking with. All the buses. And
did you have the bathroom in there with the full shower and everything?
Yeah. And
that was like, the life.
I wish I would have known we were going to get this room. I would have took a shower here. Just cause,
right.
But it was pretty awesome. And what I found out is with younger people, when they go to a show, they don't tend to care for the opener, so they don't necessarily get there like on time, right? But when it's older people involved coming to shows, they like get there early because they want their money's worth, right? And so literally when the lights came up, I was like, every butt was in the seat. Like I was like, oh my gosh, the whole crowd's here. Like they like the opener. But I was just like, hey, with DHT, we're from Dallas. And as soon as I said that, I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, we made it. It was a really cool time. That was definitely I performed for Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie on American Idol. So
yeah.
Those are cool too. Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. I'm catching up on all your history because I knew all this stuff, but I've forgotten it because I haven't seen you in forever.
yeah, it's been a while. But I did American Idol last season, so the season 2 that was on ABC. What I did, and so those are some cool people to open up for. And I think what was the first question I asked you? The biggest,
but there's the biggest crowd, and then there's the biggest artist that I ever opened up for.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Awesome. Dude, thank you for being on, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, this
like
is
I said,
it's
nice to be with people.
It is, man.
Talking about being a traveling magician.
Yeah.
Traveling magician. If that were the story, that would roughly be about 33% more depressing. do you think magicians ever go out like we do, like super excited about touring? This is going to be my break.
Not unless it's... I don't even know how to analyze that, but I can't even imagine being like, yeah, I'm headed out to Topeka, tomorrow, on tour.
Yeah.
I just can't understand. I don't know. And maybe we're doing the same thing that we talk about that regular people do to musicians. I have no idea. But
there's just can't. They're just as passionate as we are.
I think you have to be, and that and it's so we do a thing called NACA. I don't know if you know what NACA is. Stands for National Association of Campus Activities, and that's how we get a lot of our university gigs. Is in a nutshell, they have a whole network of conferences that happen around the country, and musicians and magicians and dancers and entertainers all alike apply to play at these conferences. And if you get in, you play for a conference from students from colleges from that region, whatever you're in. And those colleges are there at the conference looking to book entertainment at their school for the next semester. And so you will run into some of the weirdest, like jugglers, beatboxers, loopers, violinists, unicyclists, comedians, obviously musicians. Like, you just run into so many people like at that conference that are all just trying to make a living doing it. And you don't run into too many magicians or illusionists, but the ones I do run into, I'm like, oh, that was really cool. But I'm just like, man, it just takes so much to continue to do that. Like, you have to really, really make it to somewhere big, or like be on something big, like America's Got Talent or something like that, to really, really make money as a magician. Like,
right. Who's out there? Chris Angel? Is he even a thing anymore?
Chris, I think he still is, What was the other guy?
David Blaine.
I
am really impressing myself with my knowledge of magicians. That's my next career path. From touring musician to touring magician.
Yeah. Dude, what a book, man. From musician to magician.
For my next act.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I can see the promo now. That's so funny. Well, dude, so what I'll do is I'll throw Chris's and your social media. I'll throw that in the show notes. I'll also throw. You had mentioned. Are you as far as you teaching? Are you still doing that? So I can throw your that in there too if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If you want. But yeah, dude, thank you again for coming,
man.
Guys, listen to Chris Colson, listen to Ray Johnson, listen to Gary Kyle. They're all
Joshua
awesome.
Mather, Simone Nicole. The list is forever. Everyone I've worked with, which is so great.
We dropped some good names today. So, Well, dude, like I said, thank you again for being on. Everyone, thank you for listening to Tour Season. Until next time. Man, what a cool episode to have with Brendan. As you can tell, he's an awesome guy. We had such a good time chatting with each other, talking about some cool things, and it would only be minutes after we finished our podcast that he found out that he was a Guitar Player of the Year nominee for Texas Country Music Awards. That's pretty darn cool. Texas is pretty darn big, so that's pretty awesome for him. Brendan, thank you. I'm sure we'll see you again soon. If not, maybe at Buc-ee's, because we tend to run into each other at Buc-ee's, and only Texans would get that. But anyways, like I said, thanks for listening to Tour Season. Until next time, guys, have a good one.